Hi, this is part two of a culture of trusting the process. Okay, so like I was saying, there's no such thing as failure, actually. Um, because what is failure? Like what is failure? It's such a final thing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so what, does my life end now that I haven't achieved my goal in the particular way that I thought I would achieve it? Because that's the thing. It's like when you start something, even if it's been done by other people before, you're still an individual that is going to express it and experience it in your own individual way. No one has ever done that the way you're going to do it because you are an individual. And that's how incredibly vast and infinitely intelligent the creator of this creation is. None of us have the same fingerprints. None of us. It's insane. It's insane. I mean, you just think to yourself, how many dimensions exist on a fingertip for there to be so much room for maneuvering that we can each have individual fingerprints? It's wild, right? But this is how unique each of us are. So whatever you do, you're going to be doing it from your own perspective with your own life experiences informing your vision, how you create it, how you conceptualize it, how you develop it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to be, and I think this is why it's difficult to transpose someone else's experience onto your own and follow their process and think you're going to achieve your fullest success. You can learn from people by all means. That's why we say umuntu ungumuntu ngabantu. People are there to teach us, we are there to learn from other people. But at the end of the day, you are an individual and you must channel your individuality into every experience that you have, right? So there's no such thing as failure, because what does that even mean? Okay, you had a setback. That's all it is. You had a setback. You had a setback, but what do you do when you have a setback? Do you die? Do you give up? No, you say, okay, well, that didn't work. Let me try it like this. Oh, okay, that seems to be working a bit better, but actually there's something that I did there which worked, but combined with something else, it didn't work. You recalibrate and you start again, or you start from actually where you left off, and you start from a higher level as well of consciousness, of understanding, because when you don't give up on your dreams, that universe which conspires to help you achieve them cheers you on even more. You're making them proud. They're going to help you even more. They're going to bring the right people into your path so that they can also inspire you, maybe help you, collaborate with you, whatever, teach you something, you know. And sometimes these lessons are painful lessons. Sometimes you'll have a negative relationship. Sometimes they're very positive lessons, and you'll have a moment of heightened inspiration. I remember one time I was flying and I prayed, like, please let me sit next to someone who will inspire me, because I was going through a dark night of the soul type of period. And sure enough, I sat next to this lady who was a Broadway musician, and she told me about following her dreams and how passionate she was about life and all this awesome stuff. And then I looked her up on the internet and I couldn't find her. So I was like, was that an angel manifested by the creator to sit next to me and talk to me? Because I was in the dumps. Let me tell you, I was not feeling cool at all, and this woman just put fire in my belly. She reminded me of that song Starlight Express, from Starlight Express by Andrew Lloyd Webber and I think Tim Rice. I love that main theme, the main song from that. It's so inspirational. And I was actually guided by my spiritual command center personnel to listen to that song, And I say spiritual command center personnel because in the spiritual realm, where the creator is, we have personnel there helping us, guiding us, sending us intel so that we can succeed in navigating this thing called life. Like I say often, it's like you are a scuba diver underwater, but you have an umbilical cord that connects your suit to the boat at the top so that, you stay alive, you know what's going on. And, so that's how it is with us. We're here in the spiritual world, we're in these physical bodies in this physical world, but we come from the spiritual world. Okay, so we are going to be helped. So, also in terms of like trusting your process, trust yourself enough to calmly communicate to other people what your process is. Okay, because if you're someone that people have been doubting or telling you that you're not going to achieve what you're trying to achieve, or what you're trying to achieve is impractical, or whatever negative thing they might say about it, you need to be able to trust yourself enough to calmly communicate your process to people. It is difficult, especially when you're younger and you're all like full of rage and passion, and you haven't figured out, higher levels of emotional intelligence, to get offended when people either criticize or question your process, but it's okay, just trust yourself enough to be like, no, no, this is my process. Because, there's going to come times where you look like you're not going anywhere. Like you're literally standing still, and people will be like, Kanti, what's going on here? What process is this that we're supposed to trust that doesn't seem to be going anywhere? But what people need to understand, and what we all need to understand, is that there's an internal process that goes on along with the physical work that we're doing. And sometimes we need to rest and assimilate the experiences, assimilate the knowledge gained, do research sometimes. Sometimes you just need to stop and learn some more about something so that we can proceed as informed people, so that we can do our best, in that thing. There's not always going to be movement, and I think one of the problems that we have in our society, is that we have this culture of an obsession with urgency. Like, I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing, right? It's like we're obsessed with urgency. If things are not urgent and moving fast and happening right now, we think that they are failures, they're not viable. It's the most absurd thing, but I do think that there is a lot to be said with the political and social and economic leadership of our world. And I think that sense of urgency, which is false and illusory, is encapsulated in the words freedom in our lifetime. Freedom in our lifetime is a hoax. It's an illusion. And it's caused a lot of suffering for people in Africa in particular, from my perspective, because I'm an African, so I'm going to talk from my perspective, but I'm sure it's caused suffering in South America as well, and all over the world, because like, if you're going to say freedom in my lifetime, in our lifetime, what are you talking about? What are you talking about in your lifetime? So we're talking about people who were either present at the Manchester Conference in 1945. That was the inaugural decolonization conference. We're either talking about people who were there then, or who were children then. Okay. So they were determined that in their lifetime, they were going to somehow undo, not just, let's say, 1885 to 1945. They weren't just going to be undoing 60 years of active colonization, right? We're also talking about an economic and political system that comes from Europe, which is way older than the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. We're talking about a political system that was created in Europe after the 100 Years' War, which ended in 1648, I think. Okay? But already before that, there was colonization, as symbolized by Christopher Columbus sailing off from Spain in 1492. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, there's this economic system, this banking system, right? Which probably started in the 1100s or 1000s. You know what I mean? So we're talking about centuries worth of structures that culminated in the Berlin Conference. And then you're going to say that you're going to undo that system, that culture that's been so heavily imposed and ingrained on the people of Africa. You're going to undo it in your lifetime. In your politically active lifetime, which can't be more than 50 years, 60 years for some people, maybe 80 if you're really pushing it. And that's a really old person. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I think, because of these types of thinkings, which we've been taught and we've heard those things repeated generation after generation, we have developed an not an allergy to it, but an aversion to things that take time. Okay.